Welcome, I'm Jon Caldara, president of the Independence Institute and your devil's advocate. Later in the program, we're going to talk about government retirement programs, but first, the governor's race and PR. Roger Hudson owns the Hudson Firm.
Original title, right?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
I worked at that.
Sounds like a car company.
Kind of does,
I got the Hudson.
Attorneys at law, something like that. Yeah.
Hudson and Hudson.
Hudson and Hudson. Hudson brothers, if you're old enough.
Yeah. No, I'm not old enough.
Not old enough? Well, I am.
Yeah,
I remember that.
You do look old enough.
I am old.
All right. You've been writing some interesting columns for the website Colorado Politics.
Appreciate that.
Looking at the Colorado gubernatorial race, and for junkies like us, yeah, it's a year and a half away.
Right.
But man, it's on. It's on now.
Absolutely.
And one of the points you're making, tell me if I've got this off, is that the left seems to play the long game a lot better than the right on races like this.
Well, yeah, and
tell me how.
Well, they just message better. And what's interesting to me is especially this early on, it's never about the message itself, because I'm a good Republican. So I believe we've got better solutions. I believe we have a better plan. I believe we present better. The problem is
we don't present better.
I think we do. I think we do. Listen and hear me out. I think we do if you're speaking to ourselves, and that's the problem, right? We speak to the converted. We don't speak to those people, the people that we have to convince.
We don't speak well to the convertible middle.
Right.
You know, you could cut it into thirds. This third is going to stay that way. That third's going to, and we're fighting for, really turns out to be about 15%. In the middle, who, you and I, we're policy junkies.
Yeah, I want details.
Yeah, I want details. I want this.
Facts and figures and stuff.
And the people in the middle who make the decision vote for someone they like.
Right. And how they feel.
And how they feel.
How I feel about that.
So, Hickenlooper is a likable guy. So they like him. Cory Gardner is a likable guy. I like him.
Likable. Yeah.
But we are actually stupid enough to think policy matters.
No, especially in the world of 140 characters. I mean, look at the optics of just the pictures of what we see. Just this last week, there was a Denver Post article 2 days ago with John Hickenlooper, our governor, setting amongst the immigrants on the steps of the Capitol. He was setting a couple steps above, but setting amongst them. I mean, it was like this Jesus vibe. It was like this whole, washing of the feet, dealing with the people and bringing it all out. I mean, it was really, but that's what the optic was. It was staged. It looked very much like that. That's what the Democrats are great at. I was with a Democratic consultant recently and this is what the basis of the piece was that I wrote, where he was like, well, let me show you what we do. Because again, we like policy, we like numbers, we like facts, we like figures. He literally tweeted out, so the Democrats have now solved homelessness. Everyone cheer, emoji, emoji, emoji. That was it. There was like 3 smiley faces, and we've solved homelessness, so we can now move on. Everybody go home. Everybody go home. We've solved homelessness. It's all great. Everybody shared it. Everybody rejoiced. They had a parade. We moved on. But we like details. We want numbers.
Well, when you go to staging, and I want to get back to the governor's race, but staging also lacks a sincereness that I think is getting connected to people. In other words, when things are too slick, people on a base level go, this is fake. When Obama came out here and did his coronation in 2008, the columns and the columns and the lighting, the laser show, and people loved it. I hated it. Go to this last election. Even on election night, when you looked at what Hillary, where she was going to give her speech, there was a literal glass ceiling that she was going to break, and she had a stage that was outlined with stars that looked like the map of America, and a lectern that actually came out of the stage. I mean, it was so slick. The word is slick, 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 slick. Hollywood. Compared to what Trump did all campaign, where he's crowded with just a bunch of flags behind him, and on election night, as a guy who wants to stage something properly, you're thinking, wait a second. You've got this gorgeous wife, but that wife is not next to you. You put your poor 10-year-old kid who's a zombie because it's 3 a.m. over here. You got the VP and his wife, and then 28 of your relatives over here. It's a lopsided stage. You got the kid. This is a historic moment, and it's poorly staged. But are people looking for that authenticity? And that's what that moment was.
Well, I would argue, and I'm assuming you've been in these meetings. I have. I bet that was staged as well. I bet
You really think so?
There was a conscious decision to not do a Hillary thing. Oh, somebody came to Donald Trump's team and said we should get some balloons. We should have balloons fall. And somebody made the decision. No, we're not doing balloons. We're not doing that. This is how he's presented throughout the campaign. This is what everybody loves. Have him stand there. And honestly, what I know of Donald Trump, that's the optic he wanted. That I am the man. I am the campaign. I am the president of the United States. All this showbiz around me, I don't want the distraction. I'm standing here in the light and watch me do what I do. I mean, that's how he won. That's what it is. But somebody made that decision. And somebody thought that was a winning strategy, and it obviously was, and they continued it on. That's what messaging is. They saw it as a success, and they continued it on.
This coming gubernatorial race, for the first time in 12 years,
right,
there's going to be a real Democratic primary.
Yeah.
I mean, and it's as a conservative, I'm thinking, wow, maybe they'll do what Republicans do, which is destroy each other up to the point that whoever wins is so mortally wounded, there's no way they can do it. I mean, Republicans, we call it the Dan Mays moment. And of course, the left always has one candidate. Well, they've got 4 or 5 candidates
so
going on right now. Handicap this for me as far as how the candidates are doing. Branding themselves early on.
Right. Well, I mean, the great thing, if you read everything that's coming out, is Jared Polis is the new Bernie Sanders. I mean, look at how, again, back to optics. Look how he's laying himself out. Free education. I don't like energy. I'm going to regulate guns. I mean, he is the new Bernie Sanders. He's Bernie Sanders light. He is looking for that base, and it makes sense. He's out of Boulder, and that works for him. I'm telling you, I think it's awesome for us because he literally will change the conversation and pull Perlmutter so far left by the time we get involved and take them out to the western slope, and we can introduce this gentleman and his family to an area of Colorado that he wants to decimate. He wants to take away their guns. He wants to take away their way of earning a living. He wants to retrain them because, of course, he knows best because he's going to take away all their jobs. I want to see how that plays out there. I want my Republican candidate to stand out there and go, you know better about your family than we do. We want sovereignty for your home. If you want to drill in your backyard, go for it. You own it. This is your part of heaven. And watch the Democrats literally do a hiccup and faint because I don't think it plays in Colorado.
I don't know because the state is changing. You've got an interesting field. So Kerry Kennedy launches. On Facebook in a foot and mouth. This was terrible.
Yeah.
In the world of distracting driving kills people, she goes out and does a Facebook Live while she's driving.
With Post-its all over her dash. Bad. Again, bad
Post-its on her. It wasn't thought out.
Not good.
I thought Perlmutter, who loves to campaign,
big crowd.
Yeah, right.
Outside.
Talk to me about Jared's launch.
Oh wow! I mean, and this is actually what prompted the other op-ed is because he planned it. I mean, I have friends in the media. You have friends in the media. This was all 2 weeks of embargoed conversations with reporters. A lot of this stuff was in the can already. He'd filmed stuff. Things were prepared. Big, long video segments that he popped out on social media. He hired the right people. They made the right calls. I mean,
give me an example of the right call. What kind of calls?
Well, you call it, gosh, and again, Republicans can be so lazy about this. If you put out a press release, you think they will come.
Right.
No,
you pick up the phone and you talk to them.
Hey, and I'm going to give you an exclusive because every reporter wants to keep their damn job, right? I want something that's unique to me, not something that everybody else is going to do a gaggle. So if I'm going to call Brandon Rittiman or another Marshall or any of the great political folks we have in Colorado, I'm going to go, hey, I'm going to give you something specific, and this is going to be our topic. I'm not going to do it with anybody else, just you. My only deal is I'd like to maybe see it before you run it. I'd like to know when we're going to run it so I can work around it, and you give me a first cut so I can then push it out on social media. And whether or not they agree to that, I don't know, but you negotiate it. You are smart enough to negotiate the press. They're businessmen. They want to do that. And if you don't do it, you're foolish because you can control this narrative. You are the guy. You're the star. This is your one time to be new. So be new. Be new. Do it. And we don't do that well. We send out a press release and think they will come, and they don't come.
I think a lot of Republicans will be underestimating the power of Jared Polis. One, everybody talks about the money. Got it. Money, he's rich.
A lot of people are going to have a lot of money in this.
A lot of people are going to have a lot of money. But he's goofy. All right? I know him. I enjoy spending some time with him. He and I will have a beer every now and then. But he is one goofy dude. And you don't know where he's going to land. Coloradans like goofy. So here you've got a guy who is going to lock up all the Bernieites, going to be the homosexual governor of Colorado. That'll be a big first, so the gay rights contingents will do there. He hates energy, so he's going to get all the leftists who hate fracking and affordable energy. And he's already getting some big things, and then he's got the goofy factor, which has helped Hickenlooper not only become mayor, but governor.
Yeah, the shucks factor.
And it's a genuine goofiness.
No, it is. I totally get it.
You can't fake that kind of weirdness.
He is quirky.
And I could see that working here in Colorado.
You know, and every point you just made is absolutely accurate, and I definitely see where you're setting with that, and we should take him seriously. Don't misunderstand me. I do take him seriously. But I also think that we have some really smart, scrappy people on the Republican side already, and a couple that you and I both know we're going to announce here soon, that have thought about this for a long time. I'm a big fan of Doug Robinson. I think he's spent a lot of time thinking about this race. You and I both know George Brockler. What a great, scrappy prosecutor he is. He has a good plan. People like him, and he's quirky too. Honestly, he's a colonel. He's a little quirky as well.
It's different. He's a law and order prosecutor.
Absolutely, but he's a Republican. He's a Republican. He's always.
He never showed up in a Mork from Ork costume the day that Robin Williams died.
Yeah, but again, do you want that?
He never wore a bow tie with a golf shirt.
Right. Not so much for his gay cred right there, right?
Exactly.
Right. With that, right? I guess I would. I don't think I cannot imagine, and I have been wrong once or twice. I cannot believe when it comes to going to some of the parts of Colorado where we have serious problems. I spent an hour sitting in my car in traffic, some issues that need to be addressed, and somebody's talking about how they're going to take my rights away. I cannot believe at the end of the day, if you're dressed up like Mork, I'm going to take you seriously and think you should be the governor of Colorado. And not only that, but we just had 8 years of goofy, and it's not done well for us. We've had a governor who's been disengaged. We have a traffic problem. If anybody else knows this, you do. That we didn't address. He didn't engage. He threw hissy fits about an energy office, and then wouldn't meet with anybody to discuss a solution. We need Adult Swim at the Capitol and from a governor, and I think most of Colorado is going to agree with that.
So we also, folks, we've got. Walker Stapleton, who's going to come in, who's got the chops, but I'm going to still say advantage Democrat for governor in 2018 until Republicans can prove me otherwise. Okay. I'm going to say that.
Well, and I can see why you would say that. I think this is their opportunity to be the front runner for a change and chew each other up, and I think they will. I don't know why Perlmutter and good Mr. Polis didn't talk with their Democratic chair and go, one of you, not both of you. I think it's detrimental in the long run for them. But I look forward to the conversation and watching them just drag each other all over the state.
Which Republican has the best shot?
You know, you're putting me in a hard place because I want to be invited to these parties. Whatever. I think you've got two really scrappy people out front that are going to hurt each other. I don't think Walker or George let this go. I think they're going to be fully engaged. They already are. Look at their social media. I think they have a real opportunity to hurt each other, which leaves something open for either Doug or Victor Mitchell. Doug Robinson has got. He's probably the one who could step into that office right now and do it. And a good guy. All of our guys are good.
And of course, if they needed to hire you, you would take the call.
Is my phone number up on the screen anywhere? Is that there?
Roger Hudson, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Stay tuned.